So I'm sitting here today with Vandana Suri, who is here in New York because she just got an award for an amazing enterprise that she started in India. Vandana, it's so great to sit with you and
Thank
meet
you
with you.
so much. Thank you so much for having me
Yeah.
here. It's a pleasure.
So you got an award for a service that you have started that's not only led by women like yourself, but
Yeah.
it's for women. What is
Yes.
that?
I run a cab service called TaxSHE. I
That's
wouldn't be.
on your thing
Yes,
there.
yes, that's my
TaxSHE.
logo. So we are women drivers in women cabs, and we cater specifically to kids going to school, to extracurriculars, and to women. Um, I wouldn't call myself as a cab. I would call myself as an alternate mom, providing safety to kids. I think I'm curbing child sexual abuse right at the nip. That's what I'm doing.
And you were an investment banker, and then one day you heard about a woman being compromised, a woman
Yes.
being raped in Delhi,
Yes.
and that's when the light bulb went off in your head
Yes.
that you felt a need to try and change that
Absolutely.
dynamic. So how long have you been running TaxSHE now?
I've been running this for 4 years at this point of time. I hope to be running it for another 20. But yes, that's 4 years of successful work as of now.
And you would say that the primary population that you're servicing is really when kids are going to school in the morning,
Yes.
because that's recurring traffic.
Yes.
And then it's ladies who are coming in on late night flights from wherever.
Yes, absolutely. We drive about 500 plus kids today to school every single day in Bangalore. We've recently set up operations in Delhi as well. And we have a huge lot of expat population coming into India. You'd be surprised that they're actually booking their itinerary when they land into Bangalore basis whether my availability is there or not. So it's actually a different phenomenon that you're booking your flight itinerary basis your last mile connectivity in a cab. A different thing to think about, you know.
And for those of us sitting here in America, of course we understand that there's crime, but none of us maybe truly understand the depth of why women are being compromised in India. And I realize that this is like a massive topic, but can you just explain to us what it is, the dynamic that's happening in India, and why women are being compromised at such a high rate?
See, women, like Delhi, Indian capital, sorry, but it's a very sad state of affairs that Delhi is also known as the rape capital. It's just too high. Especially on, so there was a recent report by Times of India, and it's an Indian newspaper, and it said that we women are 50% of the population, and 90% of us feel unsafe. That's a very, very big number. And predominantly from that 90%, 85% have reported that they feel unsafe while on travel. So when you're using public transport is the time that they're feeling unsafe. I also believe this has a lot to do with the quality of cabbies out there. Male cabbies are driving close to about 16 to 18 hours a day. They're driving for 2-3 days at a stretch. They're out from their family lives. They go home once in 3 days. They've sold their properties in the villages, come out here. I somewhere feel that frustration of all these things put together, plus the amount of money that they're making coming down over the years, has really increased the crime rates.
And so there's the men are feeling compromised, and so they're acting out in ways that are
Yes,
not controllable.
yes.
It's systematic.
And this is something which we come to know out of interviews with the male cabbies that we run. This is not coming or anywhere reported in any media. It is
It's
that,
purely anecdotal.
yes, absolutely. But it's a big fact. It's a very big fact.
And I think one of the other reasons the World Bank is recognizing you is because they have sustainability goals.
Yes, we
and
do.
one of them is truly for the protection of children.
Yes,
And
yes.
and it's a widely known fact that child abusers beget child abusers. In other words, if you were abused as a child, your chances are you may go on to become an abuser
Absolutely,
yourself. So that is
absolutely.
one of the things that you're trying to nip in the bud
Yes.
by having this
Yes.
TaxSHE service
Yes.
for women by women.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a survey. If you just Google it, there's a survey on child sexual abuse. Children who have been abused very early in life show repeated abuse in their early teens, say about 17, 18, not early teens, I would say late teens, post that, their own family relationships, their own relationships are so stressed out because of the insecurity that they carry. Second level is that when you do a research on child abusers, not just child abusers, anybody who's been in abuse and rape, they themselves have had a history of child abuse. So somewhere, this we somewhere just forget about child abuse, and okay, life goes on, but it doesn't just go on. It carries with us.
And you're really looking to short circuit that
Yes,
cycle
absolutely.
early and
Absolutely.
often.
Absolutely. I think it needs to be nipped in the bud. I think that our next generation, I don't think my next generation needs to see a Me Too again.
Yeah, yeah,
We were all out in the Me Too.
Right.
I mean, I was there, you were there. I'm sure everybody was out there.
yeah.
So why do we need to see a Me Too at all in our lives?
Well, let's end on an up note, because I love the stories that you've shared about how women, on the balance, now that they're driving for you, they're getting a higher wage, have become really economically empowered.
Yes. So some of these women, we usually get women who've been maids, who've been cooks, who've been, maybe have studied not even beyond primary education. They actually drop out of primary education because of lack of sanitation in India, right? Now, look at that segment. They've never sat in a car. Today, we are giving them a life skill. We train them 6 to 8 months to become professional drivers. Point number one. Point number two is they have fixed drives. So they're driving children throughout the day. They have fixed clientele. They have fixed drives the whole day. They have a fixed income for what they're doing. So they're not like lost like regular cabbies. Where do I go next? What is my wastage? They know exactly. They're pre-calculated. The third bit is that they are safe because they are driving only women and children. So they're more than happy to come out. They get a lot of love and respect. It's fantastic. I am a driver myself. Trust me, it's fantastic driving kids. The lullabies that you get to hear.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So by virtue of TaxSHE, you're creating economic empowerment.
Yes, absolutely.
You're infusing self-esteem in places that maybe they might have never even imagined.
Absolutely.
And you're also ending, hopefully, in a very small movement way, the cycle of child abuse with TaxSHE.
Oh yes. I think that's my burning need to achieve this.
And then the model that you're moving into, and this is the last point I'll make, is that you're also now leasing the cars out to the women. So there comes a point where they actually get to own and become an entrepreneur themselves.
Yes. In fact, in this entrepreneurial model, she becomes a partner with me. She becomes a 70% partner with me in that particular vehicle. So the vehicle transfers to her in about 4 to 5 years of time. She reimburses the cost back to us. The point is that ownership of a vehicle for a girl who's that poor is a very, very big, it's like owning an asset. In Indian, you won't find poor women owning any assets, point number one. Now, while she's a business partner with me, in about 6 to 8 hours of daily work, she is able to today, she came to us, most of these women come to us earning about $112, $114 a month. Today she makes $1,000 a month.
And she's able to take that money and invest it,
absolutely,
educate her children.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of single moms in your driver force.
95% of my women are single moms. I think the stickiness is high, the maturity is high, the ability to deal with children is very high.
And there's also the fact that you're creating a purpose that's much bigger than the woman. It's much bigger than her family even. It's a bigger sense of belonging to the universe.
She's not just somebody's wife. She's not just slavery in terms. She today has a purpose for herself. She knows that I am contributing to the next generation being safe. And that's an upliftment for her as to what's my purpose in life. Everybody needs to see that.
Everyone needs to find that eventually.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting with Vandana Suri, who is here from India. She's just got an award from the World Bank for her enterprise called TaxSHE. She's got it right here on her jacket.
Yeah, that's
and this
my kangaroo.
Her kangaroo, because it's about mothers.
Yes,
it's about tapping into motherhood, but it's more importantly, it's a women-led driving service for women and children. Sorry, dudes, you're not allowed in her cabs. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.